Welcome. Zoe.
Hi, Meike.
Hello.
This is a surprise. I don't know, my days all get muddled up. So I thought it was just the other day we had a Zoomy thing and it was like, oh, again.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I changed it to every Wednesday, but Saturdays is still just fortnightly.
Oh, just to.
So
yeah,
we're
okay.
having more. We're having more meetings. It's like
okay.
every Wednesday now.
Good, good, good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a nice surprise, I hope.
Yeah, I've just run a workshop, and so I
Oh,
like collapsed on the bed thinking, oh, good, I can have a rest. And then this little ping, and it was like, oh, I
mm,
can rest here.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
yeah.
Mm,
Mm.
mm,
Oh,
mm,
yeah. So, Mike, I did want to, well, want is a strong word. There's huge resistance to that. Brings something forward. A few days ago, my daughter called me, bless her, darling one, and shared her feelings and perspective.
mm,
And it was very strong. And I held it for quite a while and then lost the plot.
mm,
And um, and from, I know it was young ones with her, you know, so that awareness was there.
mm,
And then, of course, yeah, you know, there's the guilty mother, the whole
mm,
thing,
mm,
and this older woman body, you know, and it's things it can't do, and energy and stuff like that. So that gets a little muddled sometimes with my own young ones, because it seems to have come full circle almost. And
mm.
at some point, the little old lady is still only 6, 5, 7, 3, 2, 1, and 75, you know.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah, no, it's like I could say, God, you
yeah,
know, like
yeah.
there's no difference in some ways, that helplessness and the all sorts of
Mm,
stuff.
mm,
But anyway, it upset me that she was upset and
mm.
all of that. But what upset me most of all afterwards was that I couldn't hold it.
Okay,
I couldn't hold her
okay.
downloading, you know. Yeah, and that's,
Oh,
yeah, and it's like, oh God, with all, you know, this awareness and consciousness and everything, there's still not the facility to be able to, yeah. So my young ones just took over, and I had to tell her that I couldn't, you know, literally I'd have to hang up on the phone because it was too emotional, and I couldn't hold it, you know. Yeah.
wow, but that was holding it.
Oh, telling her that I couldn't hold it.
Yes. There you
Okay.
showed her actually that you were looking after both of you. You knew if it would continue, you would, I mean, you know, whatever, lose
Yeah.
it or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was enough awareness to say, okay, I need time out here. I need to hang up. It's too much for me right here. So you looked actually after both of you.
Oh, okay.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Just.
Just that little. Let that sink in for a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You looked after both of you in that moment where you stopped that dynamic.
Okay.
Huge gift. So
Okay, good. Thank you, Meike.
huge,
Yeah.
from where I'm looking. And you know, I'm just assuming, but I have no clue how the conversation went. But how it sounds to me is that there was maybe a projection going on from her side onto you. Is that right? Or
Yes, a huge one. Yes.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So let me just say something about that, what I've learned, and I'm still learning that. You know, if there is a dynamic going on with a loved one, a close, you know, like a daughter, you know, your daughter
Yeah.
is be closer, you know, could not be closer.
No.
You know, she obviously she thought, oh, there is the space that she can tell it to you, that she can share something with you. But there was maybe, you know, and I'm just assuming because that's how dynamics go so very often, maybe there was also not the capacity from her to feel into you how your system would respond to that, to her approach, to her projection. So, you know, what I'm learning more and more, and I'm so grateful for that, you know, when there's a projection coming towards me, and maybe there isn't, I check out, is there an interest to actually to an opening so that that can be received here, if there's a projection.
Yeah.
So that is kind of what we most of all, you know, most of us haven't learned that. It's just that kind of vomit in a certain way.
Yeah.
And then the other has to drink it. And, you know, that is not healthy. That is not healthy. So now.
No. Good.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
good.
I am glad that something in you took over and said, I have to stop this conversation here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the learning, in my experience, is to maybe the moment you notice, it goes into, this is not healthy actually, to maybe reach out and say, can we just stop here for a moment? I am really interested in what you're saying, but it's just the way it comes towards me is I can't hear like this. I can't hear it like, I can't digest it like this. But I would love to hear, but we need to find a way here. Otherwise, my whole system, everything in me is withdrawing. It does this. So can we find a way that both of our systems stay open and we can have an exchange? Because obviously you're upset, or, you know, whatever, whatever you want to say. Because I can see, of course, you want to be there for your daughter and you want to, but it has also, that's the learning for both parties in a way. It has to be a way that, the receiver or the one on the other side can receive.
Yes. Yeah.
So how sensitive and how sensible in a way are we in a conversation that when it is so scary in a certain way.
Well, it is scary, yes. Yeah.
Oh, it goes to the deepest wounds of our existence in a way, especially if a loved one comes and is upset.
Yeah.
So how do we find a conversation and go so fine and slow, or, however, so that we are not splitting, so that we don't have to run away. So that's my passion in a way. There's a passion in there for me. I really love that. Finding that
spot
way in,
or where you can, or where it's okay, and then suddenly it isn't, or it's slowly going into territory that it isn't.
Yes. Yeah. And noticing when it goes in that direction and stopping it there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even, it might be at first, in the learning process, it might be that you say, ooh, this was, well, I need to stop here, but I'm
Yes.
happy to come back.
Yeah.
I'm happy to come back, but this is,
Yeah.
it shakes everything in me. So,
Yeah.
and because of the love and the connection and the appreciation and the honoring and all of it, I would love to come back, but like this, I can't hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the love is so strong. I mean,
Ah,
from both,
of
like that's
course.
a given, and yet there's this. And I took on board a lot of it because, I need to. It's like as well.
No, no,
It's
no, no, no,
just,
no, no, no,
well,
no.
some of it.
So no, Zoe.
No, no, no.
No,
Okay.
no. Yeah, yeah. I hear you, and it's
See that?
not, it should not
Yeah.
be heard. It's just, yeah, can you feel? It's
I
so
can feel.
wonderful. Yes.
Yep.
There's so many distinctions we have to make in these kind of conversations. It's like, first of all, it has to be really clear on both sides that there is no bad intention.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So she needs to know that however your system or you, or whatever we want to call this,
Yes.
we can call it you, but I don't like the you so much because it makes you small. But anyway, so first of all, there is no bad intention coming from you, is it?
No bad intention.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay. So just, can we just stay with that for a moment? Yeah. No bad intention towards your daughter whatsoever.
Oh, no.
Yeah. 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 There's your beautiful heart, and it's honored. And hers too. Any bad
Yes.
intention? Any bad
No.
intention on her side?
No.
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 No. So there you
Best
go.
of it.
The best. The best of intention from
Yes.
both, from her and from you.
Yes, really, because she was wanting to heal this distance and whatever it is. That's yeah.
Oh,
That's where it was originating.
yeah. So
Yeah.
there you go. There you
Yeah.
go. So
Yeah.
there is already, what a beautiful invitation, actually. Yeah. And sometimes between loved ones, it takes a while. It's like, in so-called relationships too, between woman, man, woman, parents, children. I mean, everywhere where there's a closeness, but also in business life. It's like, if we don't really know how to communicate, it will go into explosion. So it's a huge task, and it is, it's quite something to. I don't know if there's anybody who has managed to, that skill in a way, because it comes from every angle to just touch these wounds.
Touch, doesn't it? Every little wound that ever was.
Especially if you're so close, and mother-daughter, oh my God. Yeah. So there is no bad intention from her side and not from your side. That is the most important. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the things from her side that would be helpful for me to improve on: the way that I communicate, the way that I am, what I do, how I do it, when I do what. So then it gets very tangly.
Yeah.
And
There you go. There
yeah,
you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
And because I was aware that she dropped into the little, it's the little young one, the wounding, but it was the strong, woman serving it up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I managed not to defend, which was huge, like seemingly, because everything wanted to say, but that's not true, or this isn't my experience, or how, whatever. So I managed all of that, aware that that wasn't even, that wouldn't help in any way whatsoever, and then gradually it just got too much.
Yes.
And yes.
So there you go. Fantastic.
About 45 minutes of it or more.
Far out.
But what you said was, well, I take on, but then I look at it and I said, well, how can I change? Some things I can't. That's just embedded in the personality and in the way of life. And
yeah.
So then I start, the I, the me, all of those little bits want to improve that and make it, And so then there's this seesaw between, well, shit, how can I do that when the body's like this? And yes, I do ask you lots of things because I don't have anyone else to ask. And then I stop asking altogether. And so it's all muddled into that, so this goes into a little poor me at some point and comes back up again and back into the little young ones that are, so yeah.
So is it possible, you said young ones were touched in the system, and then the older ones take over, kind of, but they are kind of disturbed underneath. Is it possible to show her that what's underneath, instead of letting the older ones talk their way through?
I guess that's what happened. That's what I did, when I said, I've, like my young ones are now out of control and I can't listen anymore. I can't hear you. I'm not, and there's too much emotion.
Yes.
So, And then I said, and I have to stop the conversation.
Yeah. Can you see that you took care, Zoe?
I guess the impact of what I was receiving was a bit too big to, still hanging in the air for me to.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, good. Fantastic.
Do hear it.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, let's just go away from that conversation. Let's just turn to those young, whatever is going on in the system. Yeah, that which makes itself wrong.
Yes,
okay. Has an idea that it should improve and all those good ideas.
Well, they run all the way through every age to right now to this moment.
Yeah. Yes.
I should be this, I should give more, do more, be more, and it's all of that. And it's like, well, I see other, people doing it and and
so
it's sort of all muddled up into the creativity, I guess, side of this manifestation, that that was one of the complaints, I guess, if you could call it that I'm always inventing a new adventure or doing something, and you can't do that now, and that's, you know, ridiculous, and rah and you've always done that, and da. So I can see that it's all muddled up with her young ones, that the mother was still always doing that, you know, which she's actually doing herself but doesn't quite realise. And with like, oh God, how can I be there more for her? You know, how can, and that upsets me. How can I mend that gap that seems to cause this chasm between us, you know? And I don't know how, really. I don't know how to. Well, I can't be that person, you know, because it's doesn't happen yet.
You're very clear, so there is,
yeah, and I will
wish,
perhaps be able to explain that at some point when I'm not so emotional around it.
like this, you know, you're raw and very honest.
Yeah,
Like
and
this.
and that's why I say a lot of what she says is true, you know, from her perspective, it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
have to kind of just shrug in a way and accept that this being and how it is like that, you know.
You know, accepting is always such a big word, you know, because
what
accepting,
yeah,
just seeing how it is,
that reality. Yeah, that the reality is I am like that, you know. That does, you know, I don't cook mulberry pies every day, and because, yeah, you know, because I'm watching grass grow or something, or whatever. And it's always been thus, you know, as much as I would love to. And I did cook the mulberry pie, and she holds it up as, that's the only time you ever did anything for me. And
okay, so she
so that's where it's come. Yeah.
So she,
and
what actually is she asking for, Zoe? What is she asking
wants
for?
more mothering, you know, more gorgeous attention and mothering. And yet it seems to her when I go there, I'm always asking something. And it's quite true, I do. I'll sit there and take a flower if I haven't got a mulberry pie, because that was a one-off, and chat. And then it comes out of my mouth, oh, I can't reach the light globe, you know, or can you fix my phone for me like this or something. So she feels under the hammer that all I ever do, it falls into that category, is ask for. And of course, she's tired and exhausted and all of that herself. And when I don't do that, it's more like a withdrawal, because
I see.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
And I haven't found ways to be with them, I guess, with her.
Yeah.
Where we can both just relax, and because I guess because the partner's there and the other, there's a pretty strong dynamic as well that's happening, you know, that there. Yeah, it's a handful.
So would you like that? Would you like some relaxed time with her?
Yes, and the strange thing was that after, because it stayed with me all day, I was broken, you know, and, you know, the eye was, and all of the things, and I couldn't resource. I couldn't find a way of resourcing. Anyway, I got in the car, I went shopping and all kinds of things, and came back, and I don't know what happened. And then I just sat with it, and I'd been doing sort of Byron Katie stuff and just in my head, letting it unfangle. And I went to bed early with a cup of hot cocoa and turned all the lights out. And by then something was settling and calming. And it was dark, and then she knocked on the door and was after work and called out and came in through the back door, you know, and gave me a huge hug and sat down and started talking about pottery. And I thought, oh, bless her, she's looking at something that we both are interested in and can talk about that doesn't involve anything else. So we talked about clay and pottery. And at that time I was thinking, oh, it's pitch dark, it's whatever. And we're talking about pottery, clay. And then I understood where that was coming from. And I thought, oh, bless you, darling, you know. So she'd gone out of her way to find a conduit, some kind of little bridging thing where she was showing me how, basically.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
Yeah. I guess I'll have to try that.
I did my whole speech for nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody else got something out of it. All is well.
Oh, okay. All is, and it is actually, it actually is.
Oh, gosh, that's exactly what you wanted. I mean, both of you wanted some relaxed time together. And
yes, so we'll both work on that, I think, and find other ways of meeting and slowly doing whatever it takes to mend the bridges. But I was worried that, you know, the me, that I couldn't hold it, you know. And
yeah, that is not true.
that was
from where I'm looking. From where I'm looking, that is
right.
not true. You don't have to hold that. You have to take care.
Yeah.
That is the holding. The holding is exactly what you did. It's not sitting there and taking stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. It's to show how to regulate. When something is too much, you need to take care. And you took care of both of you, otherwise you would have lost it, or what, you know, whatever. So,
well, yes, yeah.
That is the best teaching ever. Her sister will never forget that. And then she came and knocked on your door.
She did, and
and
it was all clean and clear and loving, and
so there again, you know, the holding is to take care.
Yeah, because there was the concern, have we both overridden and just shoved it all down? But it didn't feel like that. The experience wasn't like that. It was like, okay, that was a huge blow, whatever, you know. And you're right. Now I can sense and feel that more, that did actually look after her as well as
absolutely. You didn't leave her.
No.
No, that's the important part. You didn't leave her. And she obviously she noticed. You took care. I mean, it's fantastic. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, it's just from where I'm looking. It's like if we could all do that whenever these dynamics play, you know, when it's too much to say, oh, I need to back off here for a moment. I'm not cutting off. It's just it's too much. It's too much right now. I'm coming back. It's huge, Zoe, that step. So I'm very glad you're sharing this. it's huge to communicate, to be able to communicate. I have to stop here.
Yes. Yeah.
Too much for me right now. I'm happy to come back, or however you speak.
And I'll speak about this with her as well to explain that. Because
That is holding. There is an idea that holding means that someone can just unload and do stuff, and you have to take it and be untouched.
Oh, and not only untouched, but
that's a joke, my dear. That's a joke. That's not how it works. No, the holding is to see when to stop, to learn to dance in a certain way. If you have a dance partner, and you obviously have one in your daughter, I mean, how beautiful is that? Like, my foot is hurting right now. Your foot was too hard on my foot, or just that. Oh, can't breathe anymore. I need to slow down a bit. It's, when you dance with a younger or an older or what, I need to slow down here a bit. So that is the holding, that is the taking care. It's not just sitting there and taking stuff and stretching the nervous system. No. No, it's fantastic what you did. Okay. That is the holding. The holding is to see how to move. Now I just need to hang up, but I'm coming back. And she knew it anyway. So there's enough trust between you. But I remember, when my relating story at one point, when it would go into, you could feel how it's building up and soon you will explode. And it's like, can we stop here for a moment? I need to actually go, otherwise I will lose it. But I'm coming back. And that has built so much trust, because then the other, yes, exactly, gets it too. It's like, if we continue here, we will fight, or, yeah. So let's just take a moment, not to cut off and never come back, but to really make clear, I need some time right now to calm my system again or digest or whatever. And then I'm coming back.
And that cutting off has been a lifelong thing for me in a way. I need to get out of the area and, and never go back or never
there you
connect
go.
again. And that's so strong.
And painful.
So painful. And
that's the old Zoe.
Yeah. Yes. I kind of realized that's just that I couldn't do that in that phone conversation. I didn't want to do that.
Far out.
And yet everything, because it was war, there was, it was like war. There were, I wasn't sending the rockets back, but there was certainly that aspect, those aspects that were, that knew only how to deal with it by getting out of the area and escaping or hiding or to survive,
to survive.
And then never going there again because there was no way of handling it.
Yes.
Okay. Exactly. That's like, wow. Okay.
That's the old.
So where is that of that not wanting that to happen?
Far out.
Yes, I got that then muddled up with, well, now I just can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
But actually that was a distinction. There's a distinction between those two.
Huge distinction. Yeah.
Right.
It's not a cutting off. It's just, this is too much. I will lose it here. I will go into war if we're not stopping here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and you were aware of that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks.
What a gift you're bringing. What a gift. And she did notice. She did notice that there wasn't a
She obviously,
cutoff. Otherwise, she would
yeah,
not have come in the evening.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Super cool.
Super cool.
Mm.
Because at
How
one
was it?
point I was saying, I don't know, darling, actually, my conversation maybe learning nonviolent communication is a bit late, but in my, you know, because I know things come out sounding old-fashioned or whatever they are, you know, or abrupt or something or other. I don't have the capacity, it seems, to come to things through a softer way or something. I'm not, you know.
But even saying that is already softer. That is already non-violent communication. Just saying that. Can you see that?
I can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is already speaking from a different place. There's awareness in that, speaking like that.
Mm.
Yeah. That is already not going into war, speaking like that. And she did notice. She did notice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That was vulnerable.
Mm.
And that was vulnerable. That was speaking from a more vulnerable place. And that's what we love. That's real. We love that. We love that.
Yeah, I haven't been very good at it. Up till now.
Up till now. Yes, up till now. See, you know, next step is maybe also stopping the war inside.
In here. Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty big war. Yeah.
I know. Has been up until now.
As up until now.
Has been, Zoe. Yeah, we all know that. We all know that war. Oh my gosh. Gosh, have we been harsh on ourselves, huh?
Yes, very, very. And
Up until now.
up until now. And it seems, I mean, when, as the guilty mother or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
all of those things coming back from your kids.
Yep.
Well, you know, I'm not into denying them at all or anything, because it was all this could do at the time. But at the same time, it's like, why wasn't I better at that? Why couldn't I be better at that? How that was a dreadful thing, you know, and there's no seemingly way to mend it.
The mending is to be gentle now.
Yeah.
Letting it rip your heart and being gentle at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not justifying, you know, because
no, because there's no
still war. Huh? It's still war.
Yeah.
It's seeing and not turning away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of it goes on.
If she could see this, you know, if she could feel you like this, yeah, she would cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's a mother herself, so she knows.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Oh, and I know when you spoke about the good intentions, I know that her reaching out was from those good intentions, because it was too painful for both of us, really. And clumsily. We didn't know how to, you know, mend
Yeah.
that.
Yes. And you did.
Yeah,
And you did.
yeah,
Mm. But still, I'm
yeah.
so glad that you shared that with us too, that she came in the evening around the house and she gave you a hug and you
Yes,
started talking about pottering. Oh my gosh. So something
I
you
know.
hadn't. Oh.
The mind was going, well, we should talk about what happened. And then there was also another one going, no, don't go there, you know.
Mm.
And once it sort of sunk in, it was like, what on earth are we? It's pitch black, it's freezing cold, it's like
Mm.
whatever. And we're talking about pottery, you know.
Mm.
And I, oh, what a darling. She's found something where we both love and we can just, it's safe ground.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And your hearts were speaking also at the same
Yes,
time.
they were. Yeah, 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 very much.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the funny thing was that there was something with the phone. She said, well, I really came here to fix all your IT stuff. And
Oh,
I said, well, I'm not actually in the state for that, you know, it's too dark and whatever, perhaps another time. And then something else she said, oh, and your roses, because I've got 2 roses here. I said, oh, they're the last of the roses. And she said, oh, and so I'm not quite sure of the wording, but she said something like, and would you like me to prune them for you? And I smiled and said, and I didn't even ask you. And she laughed. And that was the kind of the, yeah, because it was like, I probably ask her to prune my roses and then she would feel that as a huge burden. But this then became just a lovely little joke. And she said, no, I offered. So much healing happened in that weeny, funny little talking about pottery. And yeah. Phew. So yes, I guess I've got a lot of gentle conversations within. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So big job, Zoe, to
be soft and gentle with here, with this.
that heart,
Yeah. Yeah.
For everything.
Yeah.
Everything that has done out of confusion or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not moving away, not looking away.
Because that kind of dynamic with Cressida is also seems to happen with my friends, you know, and again, I'm clumsy with how to bridge that, but I think, the thinking, it all comes back here with the gentleness actually, and the softness here.
Yeah. And you can warn your friends, you know, you can say,
Oh yeah,
here I come, it might be clumsy how it comes out, and I'm learning, because you do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
And here I come. Are you ready?
They never are.
I know, but maybe you might now. You know, who knows?
I might
Who knows?
surprise
Maybe
them.
not. Maybe not. And you know, maybe that's also, you've got the right friends. No?
Those that are still around. I
Yeah.
do have friends because we're all in this, you know, and and
We're
it's
all
beautiful.
learning.
Yeah.
We're all learning. I guess,
Yeah.
to our last. I mean, that's the beautiful thing with us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Such an
Yeah.
interest in living in the most beautiful way.
It is, and
Knowing
it's
the
so
bigger picture
good. Yeah,
and not
because it can be
disconnecting from
trusted.
it. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. We're not
You know,
disconnecting, we're not dismissing.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can trust that they will do their homework or whatever it is for themselves.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
And that's
Mm.
huge, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't do it for
It adds
everybody.
to that sense of gentleness, you know, in a
Yes.
way. Then it's like, oh, I can bring that home because, you know, I can trust that they can care for them.
Yeah.
Not in a offhand dismissive way.
No.
You know, if I've upset them, which happens a bit sometimes, you know, words come out, speaks.
Mm.
And I
Terrible.
guess this is again where I get a bit muddled up because it's like, oh God, this personality and its way of being comes out quite abruptly sometimes. And it,
For all of us. For all of us.
you know,
what do you
yeah,
know?
frightens the other off or something. And it's like, oh, wasn't the intention, but
Yeah.
and then there are times it's like, well, it came out, it spoke, and yeah, it upsets others, but it's otherwise it feels there's something really wrong with me and I shouldn't speak, you know, or I should modulate my, yeah, all of that. And
a recipe for that, huh?
it doesn't work actually, you know, so I figure
There's
the few
also
friends that are still around are capable of managing it.
yeah, you know, and sometimes it's nice to say sorry, you know, when stuff comes
Oh,
out and
I say a lot of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you know, I'm just thinking about myself today. I've got chickens. And so they're the sweetest. But sometimes
Little baby chicken.
no, not anymore. They are
Just the
not,
chooks, yeah.
yeah, chooks. Yeah. So they're
Chook.
no, they're not a year old yet, but anyway, they're kind of a year old. But sometimes they just go where I don't want them to go. And I can just see, I can get upset, my system can get upset just in a split second. It's like, whoa, where did that come from? I have
Yes.
no clue, no clue. It's just animal to animal in a certain way sometimes.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
It's like, wow, that was an animal here too.
An animal response. Yeah.
Animal response.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
thinking, faster than
Yeah.
thinking, faster than anything. So,
Yes.
you know, later on I can say, sorry, my sweet chicken.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Yeah.
then it just comes like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, that beating up,
Yeah,
that's not
that's the,
healthy. That's not healthy. That's the unhealthy bit.
yeah.
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 No justification, but being present, being here, not turning away, letting it rip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I've got lots of homework. That's good. Yeah.
Just being gentle, that's the homework.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as I know. It looks good on you when you're gentle with yourself, so it really does.
Yeah, I can feel that there's a softening and that there's a lot of, and has been the whole life really, which I haven't realized, a strong holding of survival and that's what it seemed like, having to do it and having to do it on my own. And
Yeah,
that seemed to be the only way, and
seemed to be the only way.
not being weak and, you know,
As if
all of that.
sweet, yeah?
Mm?
As if being vulnerable or showing vulnerability
Well, it
is
was in
being
our
weak.
family, you know, it was considered to be weak. Yeah.
I know, but is it?
No, it's, I see it in others and it's beautiful, and feel it in others and it's beautiful, and it's a lovely joining and instant connection. Yeah.
And when you feel it in yourself?
There's a softening,
Yeah.
and I'm in a beautiful bubble of, well, it's not a bubble, it's a huge field held here. So there's that, knowing that is beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it feels so wonderful. Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. And yeah.
Mm.
And Leela feels it as well. She comes up when there's that.
Absolutely.
So,
And she's quiet. Yes.
yes. Yeah, there's no pouring or whatever,
No.
and she said, yeah. Yeah. So I've got a good mirror to practice.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
And everyone.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? Can you see how everybody's nodding? Did you see that, Zoe? Big gift. Judith, we can't hear you, Zoe, but we can kind of imagine what you're saying. Yeah.
Hi, Meike.
Hi.
That was very nice. And here happened already something, because in my case, there was also miscommunication, or not such a good communication, with a sister via app. And she reacted very harsh. And so I also still in this process of digesting, and there is some touch in the system. And I can feel how it was a bit difficult to really arrive here. So I really would love to deepen the arriving here. Yeah. I feel that a young organization is touched.
Say again, you
I
feel
feel that a young organization is touched in the moment. Yeah.
Communication, huh?
Oh, it's so difficult. Whoa, so difficult.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye,
Mm.
aye. Yeah.
So it's okay if I ask something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's more at ease, huh?
yeah,
This is,
Yeah.
yes, fantastic. You
Yeah.
can see how quick,
yeah,
just to acknowledge that, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that, you know, when there's communication going on, when does it actually, you know, I'm just curious to explore. When does a touch happen? What's happening there? How does that function?
Mm. Um, so it's really a bit difficult.
Hmm.
I would say that she asked me a question
Hmm.
while she is leaving abroad, but just before she's leaving abroad, she's asking me if I can take care for her dog. And already for months, I haven't heard anything of her. She's very busy with her job. So I haven't, for months, I have actually, since the last time I had her dog, I haven't heard anything around it.
Mm-hmm.
And when the dog was here, we found out that his mouth was very bad, his tooth, and he had an abscess of very red, and everything was so. We went to, and he had a smell, so we went to the doctor.
Mm.
And he needed antibiotics, so we gave him antibiotics, and when that was finished and she came back, we told her what has happened, and that the advice we got from the doctor to go to her doctor and find out if it was, because it's an old dog, if it was still possible to give him narcoticum so that they could clean his whole mouth and his teeth. One needed to get out. And what actually happened till this week, that she hasn't done that. She didn't go to the doctor with him. And somehow that is already a kind of touch for me, that I feel powerless. Okay. That is the first touch, okay. I think. I feel powerless. And she has her own ideas about it. So, and that is part of the thing that the doctor I was said, we need to find out if his heart is still strong enough that he can go under narcosis. So first we need an echo so that we can check. And I would, from my perspective, I would love that would have happened, that she would have gone and just talk with her doctor about it. And also why he hasn't inspected his mouth all those years, because it's a longer situation, that this is so neglect, that it was a bad situation in his mouth. Yeah. So there you go.
There you go. There's already an upset. There's
There
already
is
an
already
upset.
an upset, you know, there is already an upset.
Yep.
The
Get it.
powerlessness that I would have done it differently than she has done it.
Mhm.
Anyhow, in this whole project, I one time phoned her because I didn't get any response or feedback how this has developed. So I asked her, and she said that the dog was fine, and that she hasn't had the time to go to the doctor. So, and then I didn't hear anything anymore. And now came via an app, not, I gave you did the call. Let's
Okay, so
talk about it. That's another
That's another
upset.
upset.
That's another upset for me.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
then over the app, it's always so difficult to communicate. And I needed to know, is his mouth clear? Because before he comes back, I want to know how the status is of it. But nothing of that, but just the app, if he could come, while she was in a hurry of catching her flight already. So, you know.
Lots of little upsets.
Oh, then I think, okay, so for me, the upset is also, why haven't you informed me earlier that I also could have taken care of my agenda when he would come and take time free, that I can be with him. He can't be alone for 1-2 hours a day, but not longer. So that is another thing. So I wrote her in the app that it is okay that Scoot comes, but that I would have loved if I would have been able to talk with her to the phone so that we could have discussed all the things around him. And then she was upset. So I got a very strong fighting app from her. Very harsh and very fighting. Yeah, total upset. And then she can be very hard. So very strong opinions are very not like that. But she's very far abroad now. So, and she had forgotten her device to load the phone. So she has very little battery. So the last thing I said, now let's leave it for now, just rest. And when you come back, we can talk about it. Yeah.
So you can see when there's already a build-up in a way. And I guess on her side too, because it seems like she's, I mean, I don't know, but it sounds like that she's quite an overwhelm, that she's actually not really able to take care about her dog, and she has work and has to, you know, go places and stuff. So she can't even communicate with you. That's how it seems, that there's overwhelm. And then she's, of course, noticing that you are upset because she knows that she could, you know, all that stuff. And then it comes to an explosion, huh? Yeah. And if you believe any of that, then you will stay upset the rest of your life in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So how do we deal with these, you know, when you can see how it built up, all these upsets, actually, because there were ideas how you would like it. I mean, how you would like it, and you're not getting it like that. So how can
you
we
can
deal?
actually say it was already was the last time a bit shocking that his condition was so bad in his mouth.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
actually already, could say that was
yeah,
already shocking that we find out about it. And
yeah,
that I couldn't understood that
yeah,
it was in that condition.
yeah. So that's wonderful. So
Yeah.
let's just see what it is here, without right or wrong, that can't understand that the dog is or was in that condition.
Yeah. That I found actually very strange from the doctor, that he hasn't controlled that more regular. That hasn't happened somehow. Yeah, that is, I don't know why, but it is upsetting that the upset is about taking care or. Yeah.
So, I totally get it. I mean, because that's happening, it's all around us constantly, huh? I mean, with animals especially. People have jobs and dogs and cats are in the houses all day long. It's just one of those things, huh? We are confronted with that. Or look at the animals that we eat, how they are treated. Not all of them, but most of them.
Yeah.
So that's there constantly, actually.
And she's very good with her dog. I must say that it's a very strong bonding already for 14 years. He's a very old dog.
Yeah.
Looks quite young actually. So there is a good, the love affair is very good.
Yeah.
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 And this is a kind of nonchalance from the doctor or from her. And yeah, that's what it is. I can't argue in that sense with reality, and yet something is upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually already very good just to see all those upsets.
Yes.
That are a little bit under the radar, but it are all little upsets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then somehow I can see I wanted that to be different.
Yeah. And I mean, what we like to is that the other takes care of our ideas in a way, yeah. We're kind of, she should, in a way. That's where the split happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She should have called me, and all those little. And I know all of that in my own experience.
Yeah.
So it's not no finger pointing. It's just so interesting to see how systems get so upset and where the split happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
It's actually the whole human tragedy in one one example.
Yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the dog is with you now?
No, he's not with me.
Not. No.
He would then come on Monday.
Oh,
but
okay.
because this all happened and it was so hard, I say, for this time it's better not. Let's leave it like this.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better not. And then next time he can come again. Too much upset has happened now.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Meike.
Thanks, Judith. Thanks for sharing.
And I'm here again, so that's beautiful.
Yeah. Laura. Anything you would like to share in words? You don't have to.
Yeah, just so grateful for this, and yeah, even amongst everything else that's just so ridiculous, just so grateful for this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so ridiculous, isn't it? Oh gosh.
If you get the joke, it's quite funny, yeah. If you don't get it, oh my gosh, it's not enjoyable. But if you
No,
get
it's
the
no, but
joke,
it's not. Yeah, it's not enjoyable.
but if you get the joke, oh my God, it's funny.
It's both. It's totally both. Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, you can see where, Papaji would say, just keep quiet, huh? Keep quiet.
Mm.
Don't entertain anything. So you can see where that comes from, huh? It's just one word and a whole universe is
Yeah. Yeah.
opening up just like that. Just
Mm.
like that. With
Mm.
one word.
Mm.
So no wonder that not going anywhere, just here,
Mm.
just here,
Mm.
moment by
Yeah.
moment by moment by moment.
Because there can be a little bit of a challenge in staying quiet and staying open or retreating.
Yes, I get you. Yeah, yeah.
And
It's like that, staying on the edge, in balance. Yeah, Yeah.
you know, and
Yes.
when things are a struggle with people or life, you know, holding steady and staying open to it.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Mm.
like that
Yeah.
is, oh,
Yes, that is exactly like that. Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
and being fully like responsible for my role, totally, you know, I can see where I can, like all of us, I make mistakes, and then staying open again to that.
Yeah. Yeah. See, you know, I see it differently. I mean, I find it's a very, very hard word.
Yeah, no, I know.
Mistake. Yeah. Yeah.
But I just mean in the interplay, you know, we're all trying and we're all, it's just a, you know, things happen, things hurt, things,
Ongoing.
yeah,
Yes,
and you know, we
exactly.
cause hurt, whatever. It's not meant, it's just because we're not, you know,
See, it's
whatever.
like with these words, even
Oh,
causing hurt, all of
yeah,
that
I know,
is violence towards self.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm just trying to describe how it's just swings and roundabouts and it's in and out, and
Yeah.
we're, you know, it,
I hear you.
and
I
how
hear
you
you.
just stay open and still when that's occurring.
See, I totally hear you. And even that staying open is too much.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Too much. It's too much effort. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens if it, you know, the words are tricky here, because it's not even going inward, but it is in a way going inward to the heart of the heart. What happens when that happens? Mm.
I think what I'm trying to say is that, you know, I can be here, like you can be here the whole time and stay in the heart, and yet it's easy to retreat when it feels like there's a disharmony or
Mm. Mm. But I'm not meaning it as a retreat.
no,
No.
I know.
Oh, that's so good that you know that.
I think what's happening is, and this is something that's my experience recently, I'm trying to express something and I can't, and
Mhm. Yeah.
and then I can get frustrated, and then I can
Yeah.
retreat when actually all I want to do is be here.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And the same thing is happening now.
Oh, and I feel you so here. I feel you totally here.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can sense I can sense that frustration of like, that's not, you know, that isn't.
That's just frustration. It's
Yeah,
just
I know, and it just, all it wants is this.
yes. Yeah, and it has it at the same time. So there can
And
be
it always
frustration.
feels like it has to try and speak it to make it known because it's not understood so often. And yet it just wants to be quiet and hear.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. So how about frustration and being here and being quiet can all be there at the same time?
yeah. And then it's like, whoo.
Yeah. Then there's who. Yeah. Taking your jacket off.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean about the being open, not open, but just remaining.
Get it. I get it. I get it. I don't know, maybe I'm just talking to myself, as a response. So if it doesn't make sense, chuck it.
It's correct.
Chuck it.
It's correct. No.
I totally understand. So all of it at the same time.
All of it at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yes.
And then yeah, it's amazing what happens, and it's so surprising. And then whoa.
It's alive, huh? Mm. What I love
Yeah.
when everything can be included is, right and wrong just drops and
Everything.
no
Yeah.
preference. It's just all here at the same time.
Yeah, and as soon as there's no preference, something maybe that was a preference will then come in.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
That's the joke.
that's the joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's such a joke.
Yep, it's such a joke.
Yeah, but that is quite something.
I like your response very much. Oh. So all is well. Pretty quiet.
And then this is just like so in intriguing, and I mean, yeah, it just that isn't even the word. It's just so much of like,
Yeah, oh, exactly. Oh, that's a good word.
just want
And
to
good sound.
take it all in, like the whole thing. Like,
And also like, you know, your arms doing that, because it's that movement, huh? It's taking it all in and it's going out at the same time. It's in movement. It's in flow. It's in flow.
and yeah, it's like there's really nothing more that you could ever want when it's like that. It's just
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yes. It's like
and then
that.
there's the thing that's like more, but it's not a
More,
want.
more, more.
It's
Yeah.
it's like,
Yes.
if it stopped right now, it would be okay, but there's still like just everything.
Exactly.
It's such a like desire of the heart that's so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense.
Makes sense. I hear you. And just having glimpses of this is, you know, some people say that's the biggest luck ever. Just having moments of this flow.
It's so touching, like, ooh.
Mm. Mm. All is well. Mm. Thanks, Laura.
I don't even know what that was.
Mm. Esther.
Hi, Mike, everyone.
Hi.
It's a while ago, isn't it? It's a while ago. You hear
It's
me?
a while ago. I hear you, yes.
Just want to love to meet you.
Mm.
My system is has learned to meet. So, and I love the talks with you, with Laura and Zoe.
Mm.
Just, yeah, sweet.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, now I feel you meet me. Going deeper and deeper, and then a kind of alarm starts to happen here.
Fantastic. Good to notice. Good to notice. Mm.
Yeah, it's not personal, it's just happening. And yeah.
Let me know when you're ready to meet again.
I am.
Okay, good.
It's there, but you know. Oh, it's not an I who's ready.
Say
Just,
again.
it's not the I what is ready or not. It's behind the I.
Mhm.
And there's trying to meet in a you can say on a deeper level, and then the working starts here.
Mm, exactly.
And that's in, yeah, you can say it's in a way. And I also feel that there, yeah, it's yeah, I try to find words. Mm.
Can you meet me while you're trying to find words?
I know it's not going with finding words. As if at least there's a longing and also meeting, I think, from your side. To the place, maybe it's that word, place is too small, where the heart is in. It's not even the heart, but it's where the heart is in. That's what I sense. I don't know if you understand me, but I try to express. And it feels raw and careful and not used to be met there. At least not with human beings.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. I have no idea how it is for you. It was just coming like to
How
add.
was it?
So, sorry.
How was it for you?
A bit exciting and also like yeah, that meeting from behind everything.
Oh,
Um, and I can't give it words from that place.
yeah. For me, it was beautiful.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Esther. Sana.
Hi, Meike.
Hello. Yeah.
The body is not very comfortable, and there's
Yeah.
movement to get away. And
Let it move.
Mm.
Let it move. Fantastic. Because at the same time, something would like to be here. Huh?
yes,
Yes.
sitting with
So-
you, there was also a possibility to be here.
Fantastic.
Mm.
So, it's very, very healthy that, when the body wants to move away, it provides also all the chemicals for moving away. But if it has to stay still, then it becomes very unhealthy.
Mm.
So that's why I love to encourage the movement. When it wants to get away, let it move. You don't even have to look. It's just, it's such a healthy learning. We're not used to it. If that can, we can be conscious about that. Body wants to move away, or something wants to move away, let it move.
Mm. Mm.
It even makes sounds. Yeah.
And I
then just
hadn't thought about that when there is a
Yeah.
physical discomfort that,
yes.
and I still want to be here, but
Yeah. So how is it when it can move at the same time? What happens to the discomfort, if anything?
feels a little more, I don't know, alive, or it's not only the discomfort anymore. There's something else easier.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's good news, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So that means that the system is taking that invitation. Yeah. No system likes to be in discomfort.
No.
Especially not the animal body. You see animals, they move freely if they can.
Mm.
I always love watching dogs and cats because they live so closely with us quite often. Cat or dog can sleep there for hours somewhere, and all of a sudden they get up and they do their stretch, and then they move maybe 1 meter, or just from here to there, and then they put themselves down and sleep another 2-3 days, not hours, isn't it? Have you watched it?
Mm.
And you think, why? From what? That's just what animal bodies do. They just move from here to there, and yeah. Somehow we have learned to not do that. Maybe at school already, when we weren't allowed to move. I mean, I don't know, you're younger, but I remember times we weren't allowed to move. We had to sit still.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
life likes to move.
And sometimes I'm not sure if this is true, but
Mhm.
sometimes if I sit with it, then there comes a wave of pain, like an old pain, I think.
Yes.
Um,
It comes with what? I couldn't really
like
hear that.
a wave of old emotion or pain or something.
Mm.
And when that releases, it can feel better, but sometimes I don't get access to that, and then I just sit with it and it doesn't feel good. So I'm not really sure if I'm doing
So
the right thing.
I really recommend to you, whenever you notice discomfort in the body, start moving.
Okay.
Yeah. and see how, see how it goes. Whenever there's discomfort,
It's a cat
it's like,
coming.
yeah, I thought so. I thought
Yeah.
so. Watch your cat.
Yeah. He wants to
And if it's just going from one place to the other or jumping up and down, I've done that for a while. That would just give my system, to really shake it. Or, whatever it is, or you just walk around the block or whatever it is, stretch or
Okay.
just let it move. It's the most natural way for a system when there's discomfort to let it move. Thoughts will come different, sometimes it gets stuck also in the thinking thing and with contractions. When it starts moving, different thoughts might come in and it might be easier. I really recommend that. Just as an exploration. And I'm very curious to hear what that does. Yeah, we might just always sit like this together.
Mm, I understand why that's great advice for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
thanks for hearing.
Mm. Yeah, and I think if some old pain wants to release, it will come. It won't come if it sits like this. It will also come if I move, maybe easier. So
Exactly. When it knows that it's not stuck anymore, then, because makes also sense when the system has a sense that something is stuck somewhere, it really doesn't want to feel it.
no.
Oh, stuckness. Oh my gosh. It's like being held down. That's how it feels. But when it knows that it can move, then it can release. Slowly but gently. Makes sense in a way, doesn't it?
Yes.
So, yes, it's very, very simple.
And I've been doing the opposite.
Me too.
Trying
Half
to
of my life done the opposite. And what's really beautiful, at least in my experience, since my system has learned to bring movement in those places where it felt stuck, all of a sudden it can sit in peace quietly. And it seems like nothing, there's not so much stuckness anymore. There might always be some, I don't know, but it's not so loud anymore. So, and it knows, immediately it can just shake itself a bit or whatever it is, stretch. Or it knows it's not stuck anymore. It's taken care of. Oh, thanks, Sana. Fun. Okay, thank you. I like to hear. I really like to hear whenever you come back again.
I will play with it.
Yes. Okay. Love and peace. And see you around, huh? Lots of love.